Hello and welcome to my video. In this video I will discuss the love at first sight cheat and reveal to you how a person can be trapped into a seriously harmful relationship or situation. You will appreciate that while an outsider finds it hard to understand why the person remains in a harmful relationship, the victim is truly trapped and finds it very difficult to escape. And that's not to say that in many cases they may not even realise that the relationship is abusive and it's harmful, because all that is apparent is physical or mental illness, which the doctors and the biomedical scientists insist are due to physical causes. As I indicated, this cheat is not only used for trapping someone into a relationship. Versions of it can also be used in many different ways. The basic aspect, which is that of arousing seemingly good feelings, is very creatively used. First, a concealed threat is made and the person reacts. Immediately then, ideas are presented to them in the mind. And of course, these ideas just seem to pop into mind and are mistaken as their own thinking. Love at first sight cheat, those ideas will be something like, "Oh, isn't he gorgeous?" or "Isn't she divine?" Because we all appraise our bodily reactivity based on ideas, he or she can be led to believe that they are feeling attraction or love. Now, let's look at the two cheats, the two preparatory cheats that are done in order to arrive at the situation where the person can be cheated because they have dismissed information in the mind, but at the same time have awareness. The first cheat aims to conceal the mental presenter of the ideas so that they appear to just pop into mind. This is done by firstly doing or saying something nasty momentarily, just enough for the other person to become aware of the ugly, true character of the inhumane person. Then the inhumane person quickly retracts whatever they said or did, and they insist that they didn't mean it. The other person only knows the mask, so they are moved to dismiss what they saw as an aberration. This means that they retain awareness, because awareness is never lost, but they lose knowledge about that awareness. So when they perceive ideas such as, "Oh, isn't he gorgeous?" or "Isn't she divine?" they believe that those ideas are their own thinking. And of course, our own thinking carries our authority. So we will react to those ideas. The other cheat is similar, but it's in relation to the criminals. The person is caused to see or hear the criminals, but as some ordinary everyday event that is of no relevance. So they dismiss the information in the mind of what they have seen or heard, believing it to be of no consequence. Thus, they will retain awareness, but they have lost information. So when it comes to being able to ascertain their bodily reactivity, they will be at a loss. This is a very difficult situation because, as I have explained to you in the previous videos, and I will go over in this video, some of the things that are seen that the person is moved to dismiss are common, everyday events, most of which have no relevance to them. But the one that does have relevance in amongst them becomes the problem. With awareness, and its ideas that we mistake as our own thinking, at the same time, we cannot subsequently appraise our bodily reactivity correctly. We react. But we react mistakenly. This is the crux of the matter. And it matters not if the person is intelligent or not. This is not a question of intelligence, nor is it about sound or unsound reasoning. This is about being deceived in the most cunning, underhanded manner. Now, who are the players? The person who wants to trap another person in the relationship is most often not closely related to the targeted person, what they call the target. But they may be. I heard one situation at least where two people were talking in a bar and one person was saying, I think I'm going to fall in love with that guy. I can feel it. I'm going to fall in love with him. And the other one says, but you've known them all your life. And they're a cousin, isn't it? One of your cousins. Yeah, it is one of my cousins. But I can feel that now I'm going to fall in love with them. So in that case, at least, the chief offender is related, closely enough related. But normally the chief offender is not related. The person who wants to trap the other person, or we want to call them the chief offender. Now, if they're not related, and because mentally presented ideas are the be-all and end-all of cheats, then they must have working together with them someone that has close relationship with them. So they have to employ as an agent, in some sense, a person closely related, and of course that person is always another inhumane person, because a humane person would not get involved in this sort of cheat. So they would have somebody else involved who is closely related to the targeted person, that would both pose a threat to get the person to react and present the mentally presented ideas. So, for instance, isn't he gorgeous, or isn't she divine? These kind of ideas need to be presented concurrently with the emotional reactivity, so that the person trips up and believes that the emotional reactivity is attraction or even love, when indeed they are being influenced by the ideas being presented, and they are influenced because they see those ideas as their own thinking. So let's go over this. First, the prearranged criminals are signalled to arrive with 3 rings and stop. A phone call that's not answered. The criminals arrive and signal their arrival. The chief offender's agent then dials up the number of the criminals, but makes no call. He or she has only readied their phone. With one press, a go-ahead signal can be given. A go-ahead signal to shoot can be given. A go-ahead signal to shoot, which is 5 rings, and then stop. At this point then, the target reacts. Once the concealed threat is posed and the person who wants to trap the targeted person appears somewhere in front of them, when the person wanting to trap the targeted person is noticed by the person they want to trap, the time is ripe for the appropriate suggestion to be promptly made. Wonderful sound! But it's the butcher bird. The chief offender's agent has to be in the vicinity watching what is going on. Or they may be in telephone communication with somebody else involved that's on the scene. So that the ideas being presented at that precise moment. So that for the targeted person, the high emotional charge and the idea occur together at the same time when they lay eyes on the person they see. It really feels like love at first sight. But in actual fact, it's a trap, and one of the worst. It could do them a lot of harm. Thank you for viewing my video. In another video, I will show you how the same cheat is used to gain approval for something and then to use that to create serious problems for the targeted person. And now here is the butcher bird and following some mice.